welcome back. Well, America's credit card debt is now on pace to surpass $1 trillion, just shy of the all-time high reached during the financial crisis back in 2008. The massive debt points toward an increase in lending, with the total number of U.S. credit card holders now up 47% since 2010. Joining us right now is the president of MasterCard North America, Craig Vosburg. Craig, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Are you concerned by $1 trillion in debt? Look, let's face it, debt in some ways makes the world go round. But does this concern you that we're looking at $1 trillion near the highs?
Well, I'd look at it this way. I think, MasterCard is we're a payments network. We don't issue cards. We don't lend to consumers. Our bank partners do that, and as far as we see, they're doing a very good job of managing consumers and managing the credit that they're extending to consumers. We're in the business of enabling products that give consumers choice about how they want to pay for things. They might choose to pay later on a credit product. They might want to pay now with a debit product. There are things they pay for in advance with a prepaid product. But we're all about enabling them to have that choice, to use those products as broadly as they can, and importantly, as safely as they can.
Yeah, and the choice is really important in terms of pointing toward growth, overall economic growth. But does it concern you when you see people borrowing a lot?
I don't necessarily see that as being a particular concern at this point.
Okay.
But again, we're seeing nice growth in spending activity. We're seeing good, moderate, but increasing levels of consumer expenditure at rates that I think we would see as being relatively healthy.
Craig, we're on set here talking all the time about zero interest rates and how low the Fed has made interest rates. I'm looking at bankrate.com right now. 12% interest rate on credit card debt. I mean, one of the reasons that Americans feel so angry right now is because they feel like they're not getting the good deals that elites are getting. What do you say to people who have to pay 12% interest on credit card debt when the Fed is keeping rates down at 0%?
And they can't even get a rate on their money in the savings account.
Yeah.
They're earning nothing.
Yeah, they're earning nothing, but they're paying 12%.
Well, again, I'd bring it back to the issue of choice and how we're about enabling consumers to pay for things the way they want to pay, the way they want to lead their lives. The important thing underpinning that, and the thing that we're very focused on as an organization, is enabling them to do that knowing that their payments, their data, their information is going to be handled safely and securely, because that is a very significant concern among consumers. We see it in consumers across the board. Every survey we conduct, one of the top things on people's minds when it comes to financial services and payments specifically is safety and security. And MasterCard's investing a significant amount to help upgrade the safety and security in our payments infrastructure.
Yeah, we want to talk about that. Does everybody have a chip on their card here?
I do, and
yeah.
I want to ask about it's kind of a pain in the neck using it right now because there's no rhyme or reason as to which stores accept it.
Right.
So where are you in the rollout of that?
We're going through a migration process. So just to give you a little context, this is a journey that started 4 years ago with planning and preparation across the industry, a collaborative effort amongst the payment networks, among banks, acquirers, and merchants, to talk about how do we upgrade the security of our payments infrastructure. We're one of the last markets in the world to embrace this technology. It is a really effective technology at reducing the fraud associated with counterfeit cards. So we're working our way through that journey.
How long are we talking about to get full implementation?
Well, we've made significant progress in getting cards into the marketplace. We've got roughly 70% of our credit cards have been reissued with a chip. We're not quite as far along in getting terminals into the marketplace that can read a chip. We've got about 1.4 million terminals in the marketplace today. When we get to a point where we're roughly 60% of the cards, which we're already at, and 60% of the terminals, we will have hit a tipping point where this market will be as or more secure than a lot of other markets.
Why are the chips safer?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
The chip is fantastic technology. It's a computer chip on a card that generates a one-time use code when that chip goes in the terminal, and that can't be counterfeited. Whereas a magnetic stripe, when you swipe a card the old way, it's a relatively easy technology to steal. Right? You can put skimmers on a terminal, you can hack into a database and steal that data. If you steal the mag stripe data, you can go create phony cards and use them to conduct fraudulent transactions. Wow. With the chip, you can't, even if you get the data, you can't use it. So it's a very secure technology.
Yeah, it looks that way. Small and medium businesses are mostly prevalent in terms of who's accepting it, or large? What's the big customers taking these chips?
Well, it's going to need to be across the board. We've seen really good progress in large merchants implementing the terminals, and we've got more than 1 million small merchants, local merchants across the country who have implemented the terminals too.
Craig, good to have you on the show today.
Thank you
so much. Craig Vosburg, MasterCard